Welcome to the Brendan Brown's Clips, the Facts and Theories podcast show. I'm your host, Brendan Brown, and today we'll be interviewing Victor, who is a host, owner of a YouTube channel that's called Vic to the Top, where he talks about self-improvement, self-development, and mainly just self-improvement in general. So, welcome to the show, and how was your day, man?
Thanks a lot, my man. My day has gone well. It's been a pretty productive day. This morning got up pretty early. Got some boxing rounds in, just practicing hitting the heavy bag. Then went home, watched the soccer game with my dad. Soccer games come on early where I'm from. I'm on the East Coast, so did that and then hit the gym. It was leg day today, so I had to hit the gym hard today, and pretty much my day.
That's good. So, by reading this notes, okay, who are you and what do you really, do besides YouTube, but what do you do in general? What do you do?
Okay, well, what I do is, apart from YouTube, I'm a student. So I attend college. I attend Fordham University. I'm a junior in college right now. And I'm a major in digital technology and emerging media with a minor in economics. So I commute to school too. So I live on the outskirts of New York City, which I live in Long Island technically, a town called Elmont. It's like the outskirts of Queens, and I commute to school. And basically, my priorities consist of mostly fitness, going to school, making sure my studies and education is going well.
Yeah.
And, just overall self-development.
That's real good. And so you talked about you being in college and everything. And I know I saw in one of your videos, you were talking about how you went through a lot of things and you're very privileged and things. So, talk more about that, how like your life was different from like the average person's life, Well,
I would say really, I guess my thing is I feel like I would probably relate more to the average person, or I guess the average middle American kid who, lives in a suburban home, who like, I'm not rich or anything like that, of course I'm very blessed and fortunate to not be able to worry about so much that, a lot of other people would have to worry about, in more low income areas and things like that. But I'm a middle of the road, middle class upbringing, and really it's just, I think I know what video you're talking about. I was kind of saying like, take advantage of what you have. Yeah. And, my message when I talk about things like that is to like, when you're in a position like I am in, where it's like, you're not forced to work, because I feel like a lot of people who live in similar homes as I do, or in similar, families and upbringings as I do, they feel the pressure to have to, work hard, and not even work hard, but like, get a 9-to-5 job and work overtime all the time. And when simply really your time can be used in a much better, much more efficient way, instead of just working all the time, working minimum wage all the time. There's people, I have friends and people who are my age who kind of have this mentality, who grew up the same way I did, of just getting the job and, working overtime, working 9-to-5, and losing out on sleep and, just overall decrease, losing out on, good like health, you feel me? At such a young age, and just overworking yourself. So I feel like,
man,
you can use that time a lot better by going to the gym, learning, investing in your knowledge, and things like that. I feel.
Yeah. And the same thing that you're talking about, that is true, because I actually am dealing with that currently right now, where I am forced to have to do that as well, maybe potentially this summer. And with me, I'm actually more focused on my digital media, because I'm doing a lot of things digital media. I'm doing a lot of things. So I can relate with you in that, because I don't know if you know, but I'm actually a teenager myself. And so I understand exactly where you're coming from that perspective, because everybody thinks that you have to have a 9 to 5 job to work hard. You have to always work hard. If you're a teenager, you got to go get a job. Like that's going to be outdated soon. I believe very soon in the future it will be outdated because of the fact that we have digital media, and not just that, because people think that you're being biased, but it's that basically you can use your skills to put on digital media. Like, say, for example, I'm just saying because I know you mentioned boxing. Just say, for example, you want to be a boxer. If you promote your skills right now, you can become a content creator for just doing boxing. And then when the big people see you, like the UFC or something, they'll get you on the boxing career. Say you can become a professional boxer. See, people don't think like that. They don't think big because most, well, not most, but some people who think that work hard, work 9 to 5, they're very small minded. And see, that's the problem, in this world we're living in. Like, parents will think that they know the right thing for their kids, but not all the time they may know the right things because their kids may know exactly what they want to do. Because around this age, like maybe about 15 to like over 20 maybe, you're at the age where you can decide and you're going to figure out what you can do. I mean, there are some teens who don't know what they want to do in their lives, but there are some like me and you who knows what they want to do in their lives. And, no offense to what you were saying about college, but even some kids don't go to college. They think that they can have a life outside of college. And not trying to be offensive because college is good, but there's some people who don't go. And some people may think that, oh, Brendan, you're anti, but I'm not anti nothing. I was never anti 9 to 5, never anti jobs. It's just that, your purpose is more important than those things. And those are just options. And that's just the overall truth. We have options. This generation is not lazy, but we are more innovative than our generations in the past.
Yeah, I can definitely resonate
Uh,
with what you're saying.
yeah.
Um, with the college and 9 to 5 thing,
Mm-hmm.
I look at those things as kind of, if you're a kid who's never had a job before, never had an experience working a 9 to 5, I would say go for it for a couple of months because the
Mm-hmm.
skills you gain, the social skills, like me personally,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get my first job up until 17, 18 years old, like senior year, not even freshman year of high school. So I mean freshman year of college, I'm sorry. And
Mm-hmm.
that was a great experience for me because I worked as a cashier. I did a lot of interacting with people. So that was very
Mm-hmm.
valuable in, you know, kind of I guess helping me develop my social skills and speak with people, maybe handle a little, handle some money and really have a little bit of responsibility at a young tender age. um
Mm-hmm.
and it's really when it comes to things like college and like I said, like with college, like I signed
Yeah.
up to go to college before I was born. If
Mm-hmm.
maybe if I had my own mind, maybe I wouldn't have, maybe I would have gone, maybe I don't know, who knows.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reality. Like I signed up because my parents, that's what they wanted from me.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I guess you could say I was forced or whatever, but I mean, I growing up, I kind of wanted to go because that was
Yeah.
that's all I knew. That's the mentality I guess I grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless of all that, you know, I would say up until about a year or two ago, when I started going to college, I started to become, I guess, disenamored with the college experience. I was kind of like having these thoughts and thinking to myself, I don't know what this is doing for me. I don't know about how this experience is gonna like really help me all that much. I don't think college is really like all that valuable to me. But over the past few months, I've kind of started to develop a bit more one gratitude because, like I said, I live in a home. I don't have to pay all of my college tuition. I'm getting
Yeah.
help from my parents. Like I said, I'm
Congratulations.
living at home. Thank you, thank you. And it's like regardless of whether how valuable it is in terms of
Yeah.
me getting a job or working my dream job, regardless of all that, there's skills that are there to be learned.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what you want to say, there's skills that are there to be learned that you know can not to say that they're not available online or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that, or you can get it outside of college, but you know not everybody is capable of learning on their own. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like you know, I feel that you can take advantage if you're in a position like I am to where you can get some help when it comes to going to college, and you're not going to be in like tremendous debt once you graduate. Take advantage of the skills you can learn. You know, get jobs, get internships that can give you skills. Work a job in sales, because if you work a job in sales, you up your skill in marketing, you up your skill in being able to talk to people and convince them to buy your product, which in turn can help you, you know, sell your product on your
Mm-hmm.
digital media, on your content, on your YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
We're like I said, like something small, like working a cashier job, learning how to talk to people, that develops your social skills, and then all of a sudden you start to become better in front of camera. So
Mm-hmm.
it's life experiences like that that, like I said, they don't make or break you, and they're not what it's made
Mm-hmm.
out to be in terms of making you, you have to do this to be successful in life. No, not at all. But they're good experiences as well that can
Mm-hmm.
help you. Because like I said, like
Yeah.
you mentioned something about how like the future now is digital media and all that, right?
Yeah.
And that's like the future of jobs, the future of income. I
Mm-hmm.
would agree. I would
Yeah.
say it's just kind of like a real big shift happening in terms of the gap between the upper class and the lower class.
Yeah.
And just eventually, with all this digital media, so many people are going to be making money off of digital media and all these, online income and all that passive income,
Yeah, man.
investing in stocks and NFTs and crypto and all that, real estate. People eventually there's going to be a huge gap between the upper class and the lower class, and it's who knows where that's going to take us. But people like
Yeah.
you and me, we're starting to see the light and
Yeah.
and take advantage of that and really see where this is going. So
Uh-huh. And like you said, who knows? Because, maybe the middle class may become the upper class, and the only people who will actually be at the end will be the upper and the lower. And, back to what you were saying, that is really good that what you said there, good skills, good experiences and everything, because like I said, I never was anti that, anti that, anti that. I believe you can learn good things from there. But, I always tell people, like, if you want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Just have the option. And like you said, really great, like really great words. I really enjoyed what you had said because that will help a lot of people, with their communication skills. Because like you said, there are a lot of people who can't think on their own, and then there are some who are like us, can think on their own and know exactly what to do. So really, overall, I just really had liked that, and like overall, like I always say, and I don't care who everybody thinks this, it should still be an option for some people. Like you said so yourself, and I agree myself. I believe so. It should still be an option for you to do what you want to do in life. And it's not just 9 to 5, also just college, also anything. So I like how you bring in the value of like options and what you learn from it, because that's just the truth. Like how you said about life, life is just all about just experiencing things and getting to learn things, and just getting to have that moment to get that inspiration and motivation from what you really got. So I like how you just have the vibe of what you were saying, because it really brought a lot of just experiences and how you've been through a lot of things, through the corporate world of like working a 9 to 5, ain't even through the college thing. But yeah, that's really great. So, what any personal things been going on in your life, positively besides the 9 to 5 and the college?
um well, yeah, I mean, apart from I think my fitness goals have been going really well.
That's good.
Like I said, that's like a main like kind of like topic I talk about on my channel. But like I said, I try to like incorporate all things mental health, all that, not just fitness. But
Yeah.
I think that's going very well. I'm trying to bulk up a lot more, gain some muscle, and just overall, because that stuff is good for you. If you feel good about yourself, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel
Yeah.
good, that just improves every aspect in your life. So yeah, that's one thing that's been going well for me overall. um Really, I guess my state of mind overall has been very sober. Like, I used to be a lot on the weed. I used to be a lot on not so much alcohol, but kind of like a weekend drinker.
Mm-hmm.
Weed, definitely a lot more often. About up until about more than 6 months ago, maybe I stopped in August, and I've done it about I can't even count it on one hand how many times I've done it since then. Not very much. And uh, what's it called? I even quit caffeine like 2 weeks ago because like I don't like the rush and the headaches I get when
Hmm.
it'll come down and all that. I don't even drink coffee or anything like that, energy drinks. So it's just like I
Hmm.
feel good, I feel good. Things are looking up. Um, like I said, like I have a purpose. I have the YouTube channel grind going on. I try to post at least 3 to 4 videos a week,
That's good.
and yeah, yeah, that's overall
Hmm.
how things have
Well,
been going for me.
yeah. So thank God for your addiction, and anybody who's dealing with any addictions, what can you really tell them or say? Like, let's just really get deep into that if you want to, like
Mm.
talk about that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was two big ones. It was weed, and then it was the vaping. So nicotine.
Hmm.
I don't know. How old are you?
16.
Oh, 16. So I don't know if
Yeah.
you're in person or not, but you've probably seen like kids like, vaping them little like puff bars and all that.
Shouldn't be doing that, because I remember there were a lot of kids before the pandemic who did that, And for me, as a faith-based person, I always just pray for them. I always just pray to the Lord that
Yeah.
everything goes well. Because at the end of the day, for me as a Christian, I don't know if you're a faith-based, and anyone who's faith-based, we all know that we pray for the people, not just who is doing good, but also who isn't doing good in the world, so that they may get saved through Christ. And like I said, you really just got to keep people like that in prayer and just make sure that they can get where they can get to. And people like you are the great examples because you came from that, so you know how to tell them to shift away from that. And that's what I love about, just self improvement in general, because like how Jordan Green said, because we both watch them, we all help each other elevate. And everyone can elevate each other because if that person went through that, if that person went through this, they can elevate each other. So just want to be a little bit more Mr. Motivation there. But to get back to the point there, yeah, talk about, the addictions and things and how they can fight over it. And then if you want to talk personal about it, talk personal about how rough it was.
Right, yeah. So really with any addiction in life, it's you have to have a why, you know? You have to have a reason why you want to stop a certain thing, a certain vice, a certain addiction that's taking over your life. So with the weed thing, it made me very anxious, very socially anxious, you know? So, when I'm high, I would, kind of find myself just preferring to be in my room, you know, just locked in my room by myself watching shows and just being in an ultra comfortable position and not really growing or doing anything that's helping me gain value in life. So that was my why right there. Like it's making me very unproductive and it's making me very socially anxious. And as soon as I came up with my why, as soon as you come up with your why and your reason why you want to quit a certain thing,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to really, you know, understand that, it's okay. I'm not gonna say it's okay, but like relapses happen. If you were really like on something for a long time, relapses happen, but it's all about not giving up and just having this certain perseverance and this certain kind of just,
Yeah.
discipline to just keep going at it and keep trying your best. It's like same thing like NoFap,
Mm-hmm.
you just keep going. Like this okay, like if you come from a place like let's use NoFap as an example. If you come from a place to
Mm-hmm.
where you were, fapping 3 times a day, it's like you can't expect yourself to stop cold turkey immediately. You have to wean down. You have to slowly but surely, you know, stop, maybe from 3 days a week. I mean, from 3 times a day, move to once a day, and then move
Mm-hmm.
to after that, move to like, 4 times a week, and then after that, slowly but surely, incrementally decrease the amount of time you engage in that vice, you engage in that habit. Same thing with
Mm-hmm.
weed. Now, there's certain things, especially with substances. There's certain things that, quitting cold turkey and just stopping completely and getting rid of everything of that vice, of that product, of that substance. Sometimes you have to do that. For example, with the vaping, with the nicotine. Nicotine is one of the most, addictive substances out there. Not it's not the most it's not the deadliest or anything like that, but it's one of the most addictive. So, weaning down when it comes to nicotine and slowly but surely, it doesn't really work like that. I quit cold turkey when it came to nicotine. I stopped
Mm-hmm.
completely and I just said done because at the end of the day, you know, like for anybody who can relate, it's like if you give yourself one last pull, if you give yourself one last, you know, buy one more disposable, buy one more cartridge, buy one more pod, jewel pod or whatever, it's never going to be your last. So you have to make that ultra commitment and then understand that when you quit,
Mm-hmm.
understand that the urges are going to come with anything.
Mm-hmm.
When you quit, the urges are going to come and you're going to feel like you want to and that the only option right now is for me to just say, fuck it, buy one. I'm going to go buy one. I'm going to go buy some weed, whatever. But it's all about having that perseverance and maintaining that why in your mind. Like, why am I quitting? Remember why you're quitting.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's really the best advice I can give is to always remember why you quit. And if if you still keep relapsing, and it's probably because your why isn't strong enough and you don't have a strong enough reason, and
Mm-hmm.
you just really never wanted to in the first place. But if you really want to stop something, you just always have to maintain in your head, like, yo, why did I quit in the first place, and why do I have this urge, and why would I let this? Why because I know how the brain works. I know
Mm-hmm.
how addictions work. So it's like, why would I let that affect this whole streak I had going on?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the advice I would give.
Yeah, that's really good, man. That's really good. Like what you say, But for people who like have anxiety, maybe like to just get away from it, what can you give them that? The people who got anxiety, because some people may be like, well, hey, I can do that, but I may think. What can you give to them? The ones who are like really hyped and can't control themselves.
Specify a little bit more on your question. Like, what do you mean by that?
Well, maybe like for example, like how some people say, with no fab, some people may say, well, even if you do stop, you may still have it in the back of your mind, still be thinking, you need to live with it. Like some people think that they have to live with that addiction. What can you give advice to them people who like think they have to live with it in order for them to function? Because sometimes there's some people who don't do nothing for a whole month, but they only do it once a month, and that's still bad.
Yeah, and people like that. If you're going into it with that mentality, like just what I would say to someone who would say that to me, like I can't live without it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to quit. Like there's not much I can tell you if you know like there's plenty of examples out there of people quitting certain things being a lifelong smoker, being a lifelong cigarette smoker. We've seen I've seen examples of mothers who've been lifelong smokers who all of a sudden quit as soon as they got pregnant, and they never went back to it ever again in their lives. They smoked for 30 years, and all of a sudden they're having a kid now, and it's now they're done because that's their
Mm-hmm.
why. Their why, their child is their why. The health of their child is their why. So that's the reason the why is strong enough for them to quit and never go back, no matter what urges, no matter what relapsing thoughts they get throughout the journey of them quitting. So
Mm-hmm.
if it's like if you're going into it with that mentality of I can't live without it, I can't live without my jewel, I can't live without weed, it's like then obviously you don't want to quit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But if you truly want to quit and it's just you find it super difficult, understand that with certain things like no fab, like maybe weed or something, like you can wean down and you can be patient with yourself and you can give yourself you know keep just persevering and trying and understand that maybe cold turkey isn't the route to go with whatever it is. Slowly but surely, incrementally decrease week by week how much you do until eventually you're not doing it at all, and then after that still be on 10 and still be on point and still understand that you still might get a thought once in a while to go back to it, and just know that that's forgot what the term is, the scientific term, but that's like something when like even months after you quit something, you still get like the urges in your brain once in a while. Like that still happens to
Mm-hmm.
me nowadays. Every once in a
Mm-hmm.
while I'll get the now so less, but I would say like I quit nicotine. I quit all that nicotine products in August, and I literally cold turkey. I haven't touched it since August, but throughout September, October, November, up until December, really, I got the strongest urges. I've been around people who are doing it in front of my face, and I could have easily said, "Yo, let me get that, let me pull that." I never did,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so many times. I guess maybe I got close to doing it, and got thought about it, and I was like, "Oh, maybe I should just ask him. Maybe I should just go to the store. Maybe I should stop by at the store. Just one more." But I didn't. So it's all about having that perseverance, and then like I said, now it's like now it doesn't happen as often, but that's because I put in the hard work and I went through those first few initial months of it being really difficult. And like I
Yeah.
said, like once in a while they'll come and all that. The thoughts will come, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not as strong anymore. And I know the obvious answer is no every single time. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
So yeah, but what really inspired you to just do self improvement? What really inspired you to stop what you were doing with your addictions?
that's a great question. Great one. Really, I guess it's a lot to unpack. Um, One thing I don't know, you probably don't know. You probably haven't gotten that deep into my content. I have mentioned it though. I used to
Mm-hmm.
rap. I used to do music. Like just as little as like about around when I stopped or started self improvement, like 6, 7, 8 months ago, 9 months ago, I was doing music like last summer. And I don't look at that. I don't look at my journey when it comes to music as a bad thing in terms of it, making me kind of, I guess, do the opposite of what self improving is. Like I don't look at it as I feel like I grew a lot during my music journey. Basically, to not, get too bogged down into like the whole story of it. Basically, I started music like I would say beginning of 2021. At that point, I was coming off of a heartbreak. So I guess I was kind of
Mm.
using music as like kind of like my outlet for that. Um,
Wow.
but I was still, you know, even before music, I was on the weed, I was vaping, weekend drinking, things like that. And, but still, it was a kind of a huge leap of faith for me to do music because I put myself out there. I put myself out there on social
Yeah.
media, in front of an audience of people I went to high school with that I would be, I would always be scared of, thinking to myself, oh, what would they think of me if they, if I started doing music and would they all think I'm lame or something like that, like I
Mm.
got all those types of anxious thoughts from doing music and it helped me
Yeah.
in that sense. But, with music and especially with the rapper, like especially the aspiring rapper lifestyle, like weed, drinking, all that, it's still kind of a big part of the culture. So basically, we get to August, June, July, August. I discover a couple of YouTubers, self improvement YouTubers that like I really get into like the self improvement side of YouTube. And I'm still
Mm-hmm.
doing music at this point, but I'm kind of
Yeah.
like now looking at other things. And now eventually I find this YouTuber named Hamza. He was a big, I don't know if you've heard of him, but his name is Hamza. And he was a huge spark in my self improvement journey for sure, because I guess I was able to relate to him a lot, you know. And I found him when he was a kind of relatively a smaller channel, I would say, like maybe 30K subscribers, and then eventually he blew up after that, and now he's at like 300K at this point today.
Oh wow.
And really, I related to him a lot because a lot of the things, like when it comes to weed, when it comes to binge eating and all that, like I related to that
Yeah.
kind of stuff a lot. So I started watching him. I started watching YouTubers like Jordan Green, like Ice Cold JT, like a lot of different types of YouTubers.
Yeah.
And I started getting a little bit more like focused on the self improvement stuff. I was still like trying to deal with my addictions and things like that. I was still smoking weed at that point, but I was, trying to do better. I started
Mm-hmm.
hitting the gym for the first time, like actual public gym instead of just working out at home. I actually started hitting the gym because that was a big anxiety thing for me too, to where I don't know, I didn't want to be in a public gym and, have feel like people were looking at me. So that was a big leap of faith. And then, yeah, eventually, like July, I was kind of the spark. And then by August, I made the commitment to just really stop all the substances I was doing. Like that's when I quit weed. That's when I quit nicotine cold turkey. That's when I started cleaning up my diet. My diet is I eat a very like kind of, I mean, like I follow the 80/20 rule where it's like I eat 80% clean foods and 20%, maybe not so clean foods, but like I eat a generally healthy diet now, and I made that change at that point. and I
Yeah.
just decided to stop focus. I really just decided to stop focusing on so much on women, so much on social validation, so much on material things, and just focus on growing and developing as a person. Because
Hmm.
recently, and not even just recently, but over the past few months, I've come to this epiphany to where I'm, being on self improvement, actively self developing yourself. You When you're actually actively on this type of lifestyle to where every single day you are doing things to better yourself, you're indulging in good habits and not doing all these things that everybody is doing your age. Everybody my age goes out every weekend. Everybody my age, you know, smokes. Everybody my age parties, And it's like when you're not doing those things, when you're not so caught up, like it's okay to have a night away from the grind once in a while, but when you're not so caught up with it on a week to week, day to day basis,
Hmm.
playing video games all the time, being on social media, fapping all the time,
Hmm.
or worrying about women all the time, you put yourself at an advantage over the masses, and then you start to think to yourself like, okay, I'm working on I'm doing YouTube, I'm posting YouTube videos every week. I'm consistent.
Hmm.
I'm getting better in
Yeah.
the gym every single day.
Yeah.
I'm actively working on my mental health. I'm reading. I'm learning information that people don't even bother. Most people don't read our age, you know?
Yeah.
So, you
So
know,
true, man.
I guess I went on on a huge tangent, but like, yeah, really, it was just kind of that realization that, this is probably the wave, this is like this self-improvement
Yeah.
stuff is probably the wave, and it's probably the route I should take, not only just for
Yeah.
longevity, living long, but it's also just for happiness, you
Yeah,
know?
man. Yeah. That's just some good words. This is really an interesting conversation. Because I mean, I never seen nobody really just had like such a great, big discussion because my last four guests I had on the show, no offense or nothing, that like they did real good, but with you really brought a lot of inspiration, a lot of detail, like the stuff you just talked about. I can just rewatch this and take notes out of them again. Like this stuff was just, like this stuff was real good, man. I really enjoyed what you were talking about. And the last thing we can talk about is basically YouTube. And I know we're back, well, mainly back to the 9 to 5 segment. So like with 9 to 5 jobs and things like that, what do you want to say to the YouTubers who are like saying, well, I'm trying to do YouTube, but I can't do it because my parents say it's not hard work, or my friends say it's not hard work, or such say this isn't a real job, or this won't become successful. What can you say to those people who are dealing with those so-called, I guess,
Side
ships maybe?
influences.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
word. Thank you, man.
Uh, yeah, no, yeah. It's obviously, hopefully, like, you're not being forced to not do something against your will, and you're not in a toxic, very strict household to where like you can't
Yeah.
do this or else we'll kick you out the house. But so hopefully that's not your situation. If you like, yeah, it's like that outside noise. I've definitely dealt with that for sure. So where even with the music thing, like I've dealt with the outside influences of people saying don't do that, like and you know, there's a distinction between people saying don't do something and people saying don't put your eggs in don't put all your eggs in one basket, which is very valid. Do not put your eggs in one basket. To all those people,
Mm-hmm.
keep pursuing, keep being consistent in content creation.
Yep.
Have a schedule. Have an upload schedule if
Yeah.
you do YouTube.
Yep.
If you're just starting
Yeah,
out,
man.
do a couple videos a week. Like don't especially if you're getting used to being in front of a camera, like start out a couple videos a week, nothing too crazy, maybe
Yeah.
even once a week if you're very like just new to this.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, gradually, find your feet and increase a little bit the amount you do, the amount of work you put in. I used to when I first started YouTube, I started YouTube in October. When I first started YouTube, I used to spend like hours editing videos, one single like video clip that
Yeah.
like the normal amount of like the normal amount of video, like the normal amount of time that would take for me to record a video
Mm-hmm.
is the same now as it was back then. But it would take me like
Mm-hmm.
an extra hour or something to edit it back then, simply because I was so insecure about cutting every single thing out and making, I had too much of a perfectionist mentality when it came to that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I, you know, I kind of wanted to edit out every single insecurity, every single thing that I felt like I said was dumb and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually I got through that phase. So when you're starting out, kind of just work with your insecurities and just, have more of like a basically, it's not easy. It's not easy to ignore, especially when it's coming from people you live with or people who have a large influence on your life.
Mm-hmm.
You just understand that everybody who is successful, and I've said this so much in my past few videos, everybody who's been successful in something has gotten those comments from people, those comments that portray limiting beliefs onto onto you. Everybody
Yeah.
gets those thoughts. I mean, everybody gets those comments from people saying, yo, maybe you should like take a break from that. Maybe you should not do that, bro. You're gonna waste your time. You're gonna waste your life doing that when you could just take the safe and the easy route of just working the 9 to 5 and not having any other bigger goals in that. And it's like now with the online media thing, now there's so much more information out there where
Yeah.
not even just information, but just people coming to the realization that there's so much opportunity for money making on the internet. It's on the internet
Yes.
right here. So why
Yeah.
would I waste my time working a 9 to 5? Like work the 9 to 5 to make money that you can eventually invest into your company, into your business. Of
Yeah.
course, if you have to work a 9 to 5 and do YouTube, and then maybe decrease a little bit when it comes to your maybe stop social having less of a social life for a certain period of time, just so you could focus fully on YouTube, and then stacking your bread up, and minimalizing your expenses and making sure you're not spending so much money on things you don't need. Go through that period.
Yeah.
But don't let those outside thoughts get to you. If you're driven, if you really want what that lifestyle can bring to you eventually, then you have to just put your head down and focus on the task at hand. Just keep focusing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's some true words, and like what you said back then with the insecurity video, I used to edit things. That's just how I was too a little bit last year when I first started YouTube, because my origin of I actually started a podcast in March 2020, and I don't make it that long story. I already talked about it long enough about how I met Jeremiah and such, but you'll learn that if you ever watch any of my past videos. But mainly, I had an old YouTube channel that I did where I used to do self improvement, and I used to just talk about things, and I used to be really hype, and I used to do stand up talking, and I did used to be a little bit not insecure, but a little bit worried about what I would say on the episode or what I would say on this and that, until now this year. Now that's 2022. I'm not insecure no more. Whatever I say, and if I'm wrong, I'll get the answer right from a family member, or either from you, or either from, any other viewer, who watches my content, just like with 9 to 5s. I had some wrong ideas I had said about it. Some people had said that, you said the wrong thing about it or this and that. And yeah, last year, I used to just thought a 9 to 5 was all crazy. But in reality, it's not all crazy. You can use it as a tool if you need that, and like I said, if you're an adult in that position who's working 9 to 5, then go work it. But if you're a teenager, I always agree, and I don't care what nobody say, it should be optional, because if you're making money online, and even if you're not making it and you're just starting out for free, still do that and let your child or teenager have the time to work on that project, because they're just a teenager. Once they're 18 or older, then yeah, tell them to go work a 9 to 5 because they're an adult. But if you're 16, 17, 15, 14, 13, it should be optional. And in my household, it is not optional. But hey, at the end of the day, if I do it, I can still do part time. So hey, at the end of the day, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I never was anti 9 to 5, but I always said that you can pursue your goals and pursue your dreams, because the 9 to 5 is just there for any moment. It'll always be there. And like I said, it will transition to be online, because most people will work their 9 to 5 jobs online, or either they'll have their own business online. Some people think that when you work a 9 to 5, you should climb the corporate ladder, but you don't have to do that no more. You can just literally make a video. Boom. If it does good and it's viral, boom, you're successful just like that. That's how you can
Only
become
take
an
one
entrepreneur.
video.
Yeah, you can just be an
Mhm.
entrepreneur right there. You're one viral video away. But see, people aren't that big minded. There are so many people who are small minded about it. And like I said, I'm no offense to people who work a 9 to 5, but like I said, there's more things to that. And it's not a bad thing, like you said, because what you said really brought motivation, inspiration, because you do learn experiences, you do learn skills. But in a way, if you're a person who actually knows what you're doing, you can already learn all those things online as well. So that's all I just wanted to say on that. Like everything I always say, I never try to say like one thing is dominant over the other. I'm not one dimensional. I'm 3 dimensional. I'm multi-dimensional. I try to make different ways of saying things because everything we're doing is the same thing. Like how the older people always say, time never, not time, nothing's new under the sun. Well, there is nothing new under the sun because everything is the same, just in a different format. That's all it is. That's all it
Mhm.
is. Just that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that and hard work. Like I said, to add on to what you were saying, this is hard work we're doing. The editing can be like for me last night. I was so drained because I was editing 2 videos back to back, and the editing took me about maybe 1 hour, 1 hour and 30 minutes because usually it don't take me that long to edit. And like I said, it's hard work. People think that all you do with YouTube is that you're just trying to edit a video, upload it, publish it. That's not what it is. It's more to it than that. But people just don't understand it. It's the same hard work you're doing when you're working a 9 to 5 or anything, or even college work. It's the same way what you're doing with YouTube. There is time for YouTube. There has to be. If you're really trying to pursue your purpose in YouTube, take time with it and do it. Because I'm telling you, YouTube is hard work just like anything else. And then the last one you were talking about hardships. Well, I already handled that already. I already said that. Just ignore it and really go through and live out your life. And the American dream, people think that the 9 to 5 job and things makes you secure, but it doesn't make you secure. It's just an option now.
Mhm.
That's basically all it is. Just like how some people think, oh, digital media, you're secure with digital media. The same thing with digital media too. You can fall off on digital media as well.
Yep.
Like I tell people, you can fall off both. You can win on both. It doesn't matter. It's options. That's the definitive answer. Any more last things you have to say? Any responses to what I said? And then we can move on.
Yeah, what you said, when you started your point, you said that you said things that, in the past that you may retract now or you may not fully agree with now. If you're in this realm of self-improvement, self-development in terms of content creating, you have to be okay with looking back at your past self and saying, yeah, maybe I was wrong in that aspect. Maybe I was not right. Because at the end of the day, that's what self-improvement is. That's being
Mm-hmm.
better than what you were yesterday and what you were last
Yep.
year. It's being more,
Uh-huh.
having a more expanded mind, having
Mm-hmm.
more knowledge, and being more
Yeah.
wiser in the things you say. So, that's absolutely like there's videos I have from maybe 2, 3 months ago where I'll probably look back at it and be like, that's cringe. That's like, why would I say that? Or like, but it's like, as long as you don't say anything stupid or hateful or anything that'll get you canceled or something, like, you'd never worry about that fear of saying something that maybe might be wrong. People might look at it as wrong or something that people might not agree with. Like, because at the end of the day, we're all growing. We're all looking to stake our place in this world, and it's okay to, you know, grow from certain things.
Yeah. And like you said, it's just true. We all supposed to do better. We're not perfect, but we're here to grow. And that's just part of, not just teenagehood, but part of adulthood as well. People think that, and I'm just trying to be biased or anything, but people just mostly think that, teenagers don't understand things, but adults may not understand things as well. Everybody doesn't know everything. That's just the truth.
Yeah,
Like how Jordan Green said, and people in general, everybody doesn't know everything. We're all just here to learn. We're all just here to get to see how the world is, get to see how it is. Even if you're 80 years old, you got more experience than maybe a 13-year-old. But hey, at the end of the day, you're still learning too because there may be new things for you to learn at 80 years old. So, like I said, it's just basically the truth.
Right.
Any more things you gotta say? Because it's just getting a little quiet and cringy here with the quietness.
Oh no, man.
uh, yeah,
Nah,
man.
yeah. I mean, you know, really just, I want to commend you. Because I've really looked into your channel and you
Mm-hmm.
got the consistency down packed. You got the consistency. I like how you keep it nice and short for these short
Yeah,
attention spans. A lot of times that's what the I guess the landscape demands is short videos, short, content. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Because like I said, like to grab people's attention nowadays, it's you gotta have that type of content. And regardless of, but you still mix it up with the longer podcasts and all that. And I commend you for what you're doing. You're really
Thank you.
doing your thing.
Thank you.
Especially you said you were 16 years old, right?
Yeah, yeah. And been doing this since I was 14. So this is my second year in just being a content creator. Second year experience. So
Sky the sky's the limit, my man. At that age, bro,
thank you.
I'm 20 years old. And I'm just
Oh
getting on this.
wow,
I started at 19, 20 now. So
wow.
sky's the limit. There's so many years
Thank you,
ahead of
man.
you to where you can just grow and develop and stay consistent and stay on your grind, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah, I never even thought you were 20, man. I thought you were on age of me. You look so young.
Yeah,
That's just
yeah,
that's
yeah,
just how
yeah.
it can be
Baby face.
sometimes. That's just how it can be sometimes. Like Steph Curry, the baby faced
Yeah,
assassin. Yeah, man. But yeah, it's great to hear from you. It's great to hear your experiences and your words and what you were really saying. I really adore what you loved. I really think that what you said was very encouraging. And yeah, like I said, just keep on doing what you're doing. Just like how I tell the audiences, keep on doing what you're doing and pursue your purpose. So thank you for coming on this show and just thank you.
of course, my man. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Hopefully you enjoyed the interview with Victor. Victor is a really great person. Victor is a really nice person. I just really hope you enjoyed everything. Hopefully you got some inspiration and information from what you learned from that video. So please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification button